Alright, hello. I am Wasabi. This is Spicy. We are both Hollow Knight racers here to commentate today the race between Visuals and Insomnia, two higher tier runners. Should be some people might be expecting a closer match based off the last result where Vis was lost some time to some mistakes and was upset by Sour, who was in most ways I think a lower seed. And they'll be looking. Insomnia will be looking to try to repeat that here, while this trying to do the exact opposite. So we'll be counting down the racers here soon. You want to?
Yeah, I'll get them.
Thank you very much. Oh no, take your time. Just had a bit of a late start here. Weren't able to access this channel because they were wrapping up the last race, but we appreciate them turning it over.
Yeah, they had a quick turnaround, so good on them for that. All right, both runners have given the ready, so I will count them down now, and they will be off in a moment.
All right. So Insomnia, I should say, both of these runners are in the 1-1 bracket. Insomnia winning his first race against me, and then losing just barely against Nerf Irelia, who played very close to their personal best time. Visuals having a rougher match against Sour, or that I think I mentioned. And I believe winning his first race against. Can't quite remember who his first race was against, but
yeah,
I know he won it quite convincingly, as was expected of the first round upper seeds. And
I was gonna say a notable occurrence in Viz's loss is he got hit 3 times in the Rava room, which led to death.
yeah.
So hopefully he won't get that kind of bad luck again.
Yeah, a mix of the bad luck and then just not reacting to the C dash ended up punishing him quite heavily.
Sure.
We might have a false start here with one of our racers having forgotten the load normalizer. Yeah, we're going to try to get this to do a restart, I think. Either I'm not sure. Insomnia lost okay. Okay, so we will be restarting the race here. Just so that Insomnia can add the load normalizer, because otherwise we'll be getting timers that are very, very far apart from each other, especially if this has a longer load time here.
Yeah, and while that's just going to be a short delay right here, it will be better overall for the viewing experience.
Looks like both our racers are ready again.
All right, going for the second countdown.
I think it won't matter just because the timer will start synchronized, but I think that ins0mnia. Oh no, he managed to get in faster than this. I thought he was on the wrong screen. All right, we will be needing a resync, which I'm sure our volunteer will be able to give us. Well, actually, ins0mnia delayed a little bit with the cutscenes. We'll see. We'll see how close it is. This starting ahead. All right, all right. Should be fairly close, within a second. That's fairly good. Speed Gaming might resync anyway, but either way, should be having a real start to the race here. Both runners will be looking for pretty clean movement through here, wanting to get either a 53 or a 52. It's possible to get a 51 in King's Pass, even a 50, but it requires very precise movement. Vysuals just mentioning the other day that people sometimes ask him how exactly they need to move to get a 51, and he said it's honestly just a lot of really tiny stuff that adds up. There's not going to be one big thing. It's mostly this softball here that they're looking for that they just got, and then a Vengefly Pogo, which is largely RNG, whether or not you get the fastest version of that.
Yeah, no, I can certainly attest to the precision required in that movement, and that I've done King's Pass well over 300 times, and I've never gotten a 51.
Yeah. This able to pull off the 51 for us right there. ins0mnia only 20 or so milliseconds behind them, so already a very clean start. The runners did get a warm up there with that false start, but maybe to the benefit of both of them. So looking good, and the timers are looking synchronized as well. Race is basically over, possibly. The minute differences that you can build up over time, but that's mostly a joke. ins0mnia, I know, did feel a little unlucky placing against Vysuals with this with the tournament's Swiss seeding. There was only two opponents he didn't want, in Vis and Valley, who are pretty objectively the most dangerous runners in terms of sheer speed. So to be placed against either of them is not exactly encouraging. But ins0mnia actually gets the double spike while Vysuals misses it.
Yeah, so which ins0mnia will pull ahead here by about 3 seconds, it looks like.
Yeah. Now the shoe's on the other foot. This early game lead, just devastating. ins0mnia with 6 times the lead that Vis had coming into King's. I'm sorry. There's just not too much to talk about during the crossroads section. A lot of jumping, a lot of meandering. This statue pogo coming up will be pretty neat. I'm fairly certain ins0mnia goes for it. I know that Vis goes for it. There we go. We got that from ins0mnia, statue pogo, and Vis does it cleanly as well. And that's the last risky trick, I guess you could say, in Crossroads. Everything else was going to come down to Balder RNG, False Knight RNG. No real potential to lose huge amounts of time to poor gameplay.
I don't know what you're talking about, Wasabi. Everyone knows that Crossroads is filled with frame-perfect object breaking. That can lose a lot.
Yeah, gotta be careful not to swing your nail in front of the wrong breakable object, get a little bit of knockback, lose some frames. This False Knight fight here should be pretty methodical. It looks like ins0mnia getting the worst possible RNG with the double jump back. This getting slightly better, but still a little bit behind because of that Aspen Arena. Yeah, quite a bit behind. ins0mnia on very good early game pace. I believe this would put him at a 34, I believe, 334 VS. Pretty solid.
Well, it was until he fell off that platform.
Yeah. The trying to go with doing early games so much, it's so easy to want to go faster and faster. And just getting that input, it could have been an eaten input, but it could also just be jumping a little bit before you land on the platform and not getting that buffered jump that you want. I didn't quite see the time that they got VS. It looks like ins0mnia is still a little ahead, though.
Yeah, it's definitely evened up a lot. The Balder coming up here will likely have a huge factor in deciding who comes out of Mound in the lead.
Someone in chat asking how heavy the RNG is. An RNG will almost never cause a death, but in terms of Umu specifically is one of the heaviest RNG sections. This Balder coming up can be a heavy RNG section where you can lose about 10 seconds, which only in the closest of races is going to be a significant difference, but it looks like both of them will get, I believe, second spit or third spit, maybe for Vis. Definitely second for ins0mnia.
It looked like Viz got third.
Third. All right. So, yeah, a little bit of RNG time lost there, but you know, ins0mnia, I will have to mention, will have to play out of his mind, either that or have to rely on some mistakes from vysuals to be able to keep this race as close as it is. You know, with him currently holding a lead. Vis has a lot of experience in the game. World record he has previously held world record in multiple categories. Currently holding record in true ending. But previously the record holder for 106% in all skills. Definitely very experienced, whereas ins0mnia a lot newer to that sort of level of gameplay.
Yeah, and these top tier previous world record holder runners are really just insane in the way that they seem to pull time out of nothing. Just with really precise movement. We talked about like that 51 on King's Pass, and it's just like that in every room, where small little turnarounds and strats that other runners don't even notice. Runners like Viz will be doing everywhere and will just slowly gain time on the average runner.
Yeah, and speaking of pulling time out of nothing, I would like to point out that vysuals pulled time out of something, and in getting that first fireball skip that ins0mnia missed. A lot of runners agreeing that it is the hardest of the 3 fireball skips in Green Path. The second one, which is the most crucial, will be coming up here. One quick turnaround and 2 fireballs is all that's required, and both make it up there quite easily, as I would expect.
Yeah, notably none of the fireball skips we do in this run are actually required to complete it, but missing any of them will lose a little bit of time. The second one loses about 10 to 15 seconds depending on how the quit behaves for the backup, and this one that we just saw both runners make will also lose about 10 seconds depending on RNG.
Yeah, and it looked like both our runners got the third fireball skip there. I did manage to catch that, so that's good. None of them having to show off the fancy man pogo, which I do admit has its own technique to it. But the fireball skip is really what you want to see out of runners who are looking to make a high-level close race.
Yeah, and here we'll see ins0mnia misses the double. But Viz gets it, and that'll just save Viz a little bit of time gathering soul in this upcoming room. But it won't make too huge a difference on the time as the race goes on.
ins0mnia having to turn around a couple times to get the soul there, actually, increasing the time he lost from missing that double. But the reason they're gathering the souls for these Moss Knights coming up, vysuals gets the good RNG where the Moss Knights are right next to each other, not having to wait at all. ins0mnia getting the equal to that. Really want to farm up this Geo, and any percent they go for the Vengefly King, but that's a more recent routing. Well, not more recent, it's still pretty old, but originally going for the Geo Rocks were always known to be very efficient. Just 3 massive Geo piles and then 2 enemies that also produce a large amount of Geo. We'll be moving on to the Hornet fight, which I think Spicy might know quite a bit more about than I do.
Yeah, so the Hornet fight here, you'll see a couple different strategies. Either runners will try and corner her, or they will try and let Hornet jump over them and get double hits. which are slightly faster, as we saw ins0mnia go for a double and miss. If you miss them, though, you can lose time compared to just staggering in the corner. Both runners will come out of Hornet pretty quickly. ins0mnia had a slightly faster Hornet fight than Viz did and seemed to make up like 2 or 3 seconds on the split. The runners are about 6 seconds apart here, which definitely leaves room for either of them to pull ahead. Though whenever a top runner like Viz is in the lead, as we said, he seems to pull time out of nowhere. So I'd expect to see that gap widen unless ins0mnia pulls out some interesting strats or Viz makes a couple big mistakes. We'll see very similar weight strats from both runners. ins0mnia unfortunately took a dunk in the acid on the inventory drop room. But other than that, they're looking very comparable. That acid dunk will lose ins0mnia probably another 3 or 4 seconds, though. Both runners are approaching E-Pogo here, which is a trick seen just about every Hollow Knight speedrun, and has a variety of setups. We see Viz take the standard old reliable setup with the double pogo, and we see ins0mnia do the same thing. You can insert a meme about boomer strats there that I'm too new to make. No, it looks like ins0mnia managed to pull some time back on Viz in this Mantis claw split somewhere. I didn't exactly see where that was. Viz had some trouble with Mantis Pogo. Thank you for pointing that out, Owen. And it's only.
I'm so sorry. I muted to drink some water, and I forgot to unmute. I was talking about the Mantis Pogo, but yeah, Viz missed it a few times, and it looked like despite ins0mnia's acid dunk, he did manage to miss. Or sorry, he did manage to get the Mantis Pogo first try, and without any sort of complication. So we'll bring it quite close again. So in this split, it's a little bit movement heavy. They'll be building up soul very slowly. It took me a few watch throughs when I was learning the runs to try and gather all of the places where they get a nail hit of soul. It's just 3 Venge Flies on the way, and then a final hit on an Aspid before they go to Jennifer. Should they manage to get all the soul that they usually need, Jennifer's life will be spared, but this actually does miss one of his nail hits. And ins0mnia ended up, I didn't quite see where he picked it up. He picked up an extra nail hit somewhere, perhaps having some trouble with the Venge Flies. But they will burst down the Gruzmother with 3 fireballs initially, and then finish her off with nail hits to maintain their soul, so that they can kill the Gruz children without too much trouble.
And we see a pretty clean up for the visuals. One Gruz manages to get away, but Viz handles it pretty quickly. Similarly with ins0mnia, one Viz gets away, but is handled quickly. The runners here will be buying Shaman Stone from Salubra, the charm that's used in just about every Hollow Knight speedrun except low percent, where it isn't bought because it gives a percentage. Spell Twister. Shaman Stone increases spell damage by a varying percentage by type of spell. For the Shade Soul and Fireball here, it'll be 33%, meaning that their Fireball will go from 15 to 20 damage, and their Shade Soul from 30 to 40, which, factoring in double hits that they'll be getting on bosses, makes a huge difference in our DPS and the length of boss fights throughout the run.
Yeah, and basically it's incredible how the spell damage builds up almost exponentially, especially with the difference between Shade Soul and Vengeful Spirit. Not only is the damage doubled at the base, but the fact is that Shade Soul is a much larger hitbox, which means more double hits. And it's just, with Shaman Stone increasing both the chance for double hits and the damage, it's really hard to value Shaman Stone as just a flat percentage when it can so often stack up like that.
Exactly.
It's really just an invaluable charm for the speedrun. Some people debate whether at least outside of speedruns and casual gameplay, whether Quick Slash or Strength or Shaman has the most influence on the end game gameplay, but I think that with the way Shaman affects hitboxes, it's really uncontested. A combination of both a hitbox bonus and a damage bonus. It can't be underestimated.
I don't know what you're talking about. Heavy Blow and Steady Body are the best charms.
Yeah. Vis leaving that King Station base at 12:44. It looks like he is about 7 seconds, maybe 8 ahead of ins0mnia. I think that is a pretty fair time to go ahead and switch over the audio, so I'll go ahead and do that.
Yeah, so this Gorgeous Husk fight, we'll see some of our first double hits. That Shaman Stone can have, because not only does it allow that extra 5 damage on the VS to Gorgeous Husk, it allows it to hit a second time because of the large hitbox and pushback, which does an entire extra VS of damage.
Yeah, focusing on getting those double hits pretty crucial. If you break the cycle a little bit, it can be a little frustrating. You can take some sudden damage. In this category, not mattering as much due to the fact that you can quit out, but and any percent, which is a very popular category, it can be quite the frustrating experience.
So both runners will be coming up on the Hopper room here on their way to Dash Slash. There's notably a very large variety of Hopper strats, so it'll be interesting to see what these runners do. Viz opts for probably the most common high-level Hopper strat, which is just getting a bunch of hits on the first 2 Hoppers to build up Soul, and then spamming all your Fireballs out onto the second row.
Mm-hmm. This will have about, it looks like 19 extra Geo here, which will help him on the walk back to from City of Tears. ins0mnia just coming up with barely less, 6. But over the next split, they'll want to make sure. Well, they need the 800 Geo here to purchase Dash Slash, which is a very important skill we'll talk about later on. But after that, they need to build up an additional 300 Geo to grab the King's Station, Stag, and exit the City of Tears. So having extra Geo here can mean a faster exit on a later split.
Yeah, and being low on Geo coming out of Sanctum when they're supposed to have that 300 can really cause some problems where you either lose a bunch of time to killing extra Husk or put yourself in danger trying to grab extra Geo in front of the Sentry.
Yeah, coming out on 2 HP, for example, The sweep of the Great Husk Sentry's sword is humongous, dealing 2 damage and can hit directly behind the enemies. So even when you jump over and think you might be safe to walk back for some Geo, you can get punished there and just get instantly killed from 2 HP. So definitely
yeah,
good to have from Geo
I
here.
lost my fair share of runs to the Sentry.
Yeah, it's a frustrating enemy to deal with. This going for the lever skip, the first of several that we'll see in the run. It allows them to access an area in an unintended way, which is what causes that room to be pitch black. Even with the lantern, it would be just as dark. ins0mnia now coming up on that. Chooses... Okay, they both took 1 damage there. ins0mnia maybe having a little bit of trouble with the dark room at the end. Not quite as quick through there, I believe, as you'd want to be, and he takes an additional damage here. Does start to get risky as these HP numbers plunge below 4 before the Soul Sanctum even begins. It's a very RNG heavy split. Some very nasty bosses and enemies like that Soul Twister that Vis just killed. They can teleport, they can shoot homing missiles. It's not a good time for anyone, casual players, speedrunners, randomizer, racers alike.
Yeah, notably, the Soul Twister's teleportation has no regard for your trajectory, so they will teleport directly in front of where you're about to be, and you can't dodge them in a lot of situations.
And then both bosses of this area, the Soul Warrior, which we'll be seeing first, and the Soul Master, have the ability to teleport out of your spells, essentially. There might be a better strat for the Soul Warrior, but in terms of the Soul Master, fake diving and teleporting back up, just not teleporting where you need him to, just can be quite the frustrating experience when you know that RNG is a pretty big factor in such a large and dangerous area.
Yeah, the Soul Master fight's definitely one of the more RNG heavy sections of the run.
It looks like, Vis did get both double hits. I thought he got both nail hits at the start of that fight. He missed the nail hit at the beginning, so he took a little bit longer to clean that up there than he probably would have wanted. Missing a wall jump there too. Both racers are having a fantastic race, I might say. The mistakes from either one have been very minor. Pretty optimal gameplay.
Yeah, and ins0mnia did just miss one of the Shade Soul doubles, so he will have to get a few extra nail swings to get the last hit.
Yeah, definitely losing more time than Vis there. But here we'll see Vis trying to show off a Soul Master quick kill. If he does this the right way, he'll be able to get 3 fireball hits right at the beginning of the fight, and then also break open some soul jars and collect soul for 2 more fireballs. Given good RNG, this can mean the fight ends in just a matter of seconds, but he doesn't quite get it. No, not at all. This fight will be a little bit longer, but I'm sure Vis has the skill to, eliminate the Soul Master fairly quickly, at least the first phase.
Yeah, it's worth noting with that quick kill, if the Soul Master decides to teleport right away like it did to Vis there, you can just... There's nothing you can do. You'll miss the quick kill. It just gets out of the way before your second fireball even has a chance to come out. And it's a real shame. It's not very common, so it's really unlucky for this.
Yeah, and ins0mnia getting similar but not quite the same RNG where the Soul Master just... I believe he had a much faster phase 1 than Vis here. I don't think it will make up for the other time that he lost throughout Soul Sanctum, and perhaps he has a rough second phase as well, but almost synchronized dives with ins0mnia getting the fake Soul Master dive and Vis getting the real one. Just slightly ahead on the timer there. Yeah, so 6 nail hits and 2 Shade Souls will finish off the Soul Master. ins0mnia finishing with extra soul, but not actually needing to heal at all. Choosing to heal before the fight. And managing not to take hit throughout it.
Yeah, it was interesting to see him choose to heal before the fight. because abandoning that soul for the right before the Soul Master fight can really get you into a lot of trouble. Because when the fight goes on, you can lose a lot of time between hits if you don't kill him right away.
Yeah, and barring a perfect reaction to the dives, you can just getting multiple dives can just mean like a pretty huge period of time where you're just not able to damage the boss at all. But fortunately, ins0mnia was able to clean up the Soul Master before that happened. Both runners leaving with a fairly decent amount of Geo. I believe ins0mnia will be exiting with more soul, which will mean that he'll be able to clean up some husks a little faster than Vis. If that ends up needing to happen. Which they do need to kill some husks for that 300 Geo we talked about earlier.
Something interesting to notice is that ins0mnia's elevator was at the top of the elevator shaft there. Usually runners will knock that down, but it has a bit of a delay from when it reaches the top, so ins0mnia must have just missed it heading into the Soul Warrior fight, and that'll lose him a bit of time on Viz on this exit.
I see. I actually had not noticed that, so thank you. But yeah, it does look like Vis is solidly in the lead, leaving Soul Sanctum. Able to grab that bench down there before the 20-minute mark, whereas ins0mnia will be getting it, I'm going to guess, around 2020. So it looks like about a 20-second lead for Vis. Oh, and he pauses a little bit for some soul, but yeah. So coming up on this split here, now that they've gathered the 300 Geo, they'll be buying the King Station Stag and heading to Dirtmouth to get to Crystal Peaks. Because that is why they grab the dive so early, so that they can go through Sea Peaks without using the lantern and able to collect D-Dark on the way to Dreamnail. It's a very efficient route, one that the current patch category cannot boast. Entirely having to go back all the way to Soul Sanctum for Shade Soul at a later time, but in this category, the efficient routing is just a huge benefit.
Yeah, and both runners showing just how tight the Geo route is in this category coming into King Station here at a high level. ins0mnia being at 0 Geo and Viz being at 8. Geo is very tight in all skills early on in the run, but from here on forward, there'll be no significant Geo gaps for them to conquer.
Yeah, the Watcher Knight chest is just joy in a box. I've heard it described. It's 655 Geo, which is pretty much the exact amount of money they need for the remaining purchases, which include a bench in the basin, the Hidden Station Stag, and the Distant Village Stag. This did take one hit while collecting soul to enter Sea Peaks. I don't expect that will matter. Sea Peaks is usually one of the most practiced areas for runners, as the most of the gameplay for this area is entirely cycle and movement based. So provided you have consistent movement, there is no need to worry about RNG, and as a result, most runners will put a lot of time into learning the correct cycles, especially for a room called God Cycle, God Pixel. Hogax is one of the spicier tricks that does rely a bit on RNG. This does get it, manages to save a little bit of time there. I don't believe ins0mnia will go for it. He's a strong advocate against Hogax. This has complained about it in the past, saying that he will probably never go for it in a race, but you know, feeling maybe that he was already in the lead. It does take some damage in that God Cycle room. Unfortunate. Putting him on 3 HP. This will mean... Oh, he's going to take another hit here. He's getting some pretty low HP. I do reckon that he won't take the... Yeah, he's going to heal. I can't tell... Go ahead.
I was just going to say, HP in this split is especially scary because runners are looking to have 2 finishing the split to do a early control at Descending Dark, as well as there just being a lot of movement in general in here, where small differences can result in a lot of runner damage to the runners.
And ins0mnia missing a few crucial jumps as well, almost exactly the same as Vis. 2 HP leaving this room. Oh no. Bird. And Vis, we're going to see, does he go for the damage cycle? No, he's doing damageless. It's a slightly slower cycle, but definitely respectable considering he's already on 3 HP. Doesn't want to spend even more time healing in case of a further mistake. Safer strats, especially when you're in the lead, I can definitely understand. And perhaps, and whether or not Vis knows it, ins0mnia did lose a pretty significant amount of time healing himself. Oh, ins0mnia missing out on that lever hit, while vysuals is on the way to D-Dark. Very powerful spell. It will allow us to destroy the Watcher Knights with impunity, provided they give us the right RNG. ins0mnia giving us a frick in the chat. I certainly hope that's not indicative of a death. He might have missed underplat here. That can be a double damage hit.
No. Maybe it was just the healing from earlier?
Yeah, he's probably just waiting for the animation for a Crystal Heart. Okay.
Yeah, alright.
Vis taking a hit of damage in the Dark Room, but not allowing that to affect him. He just goes right through it anyway. It's a mark of a very experienced runner to be able to get through the Dark Room after making a slight mistake like that. I believe Vis actually saved a grub according to chat. I'm not sure I'm hearing that right. He might have made it just an accidental nail swing. That's far more likely than an intentional grub save, but I believe he's counting on ins0mnia to not save the grub either, unless they're coordinated to upset audience expectations. Oh, he misses that. Yeah, ins0mnia does skip the grub, just as I thought. While Vis is performing our super slide here, or not so super slide, the intentional damage tank that Spicy mentioned earlier. Oh, ins0mnia. Okay, it looked like he was having a little bit of trouble in the Dark Room too, but once again, he went and tried to hit that Glimback for an extra hit of soul and took some extra damage instead. I don't think he actually needed that soul, so it's a little strange. Perhaps just a habit.
Yeah. You know, what can you expect from someone who can't make the simple nail swing to save a grub?
True. Spending that extra nail swing elsewhere. But it looks like ins0mnia will be able to show off that same glitch that I I was focused on the grubs. You hit this crystal 7 times. On the 8th swing, it will break. If you charge up a dash slash and release it on the crystal, it will slide you over here and drop you into the spikes, which will allow you to get control earlier than you normally would and start the Dream Nail split a little bit quicker. So Vis is making his way through the dream. Wow, that's an underplat that I've not seen them do that way. Most runners will choose to slam into or come close to slamming into the that farthest platform that you can bump into with the C-dash there and then dash under. Vis stopped his C-dash very early. I thought unintentionally, but he just dashed right under, knowing the exact dash length and being able to get that wall jump timing just right at the end of the dash. To make it for a quick small time save.
Yeah, ins0mnia is entering the Dream Plats now, so hopefully we'll see a nice underplat from him there as well. Meanwhile, vysuals will be on his way to Watcher Knights, where we will see if RNGesus has blessed his run, or if he'll have to pull some sick fireballs out to make it a quick fight.
Yeah, Vis having the fortunate experience of being both a former any percent runner and a all skills runner knows how to handle the Watcher Knights no matter what, I'm sure. But some runners who have only played all skills do struggle when they give the bad RNG and start rolling everywhere, not knowing the height or the trajectory for the Shade Souls, not getting the optimal damage. I'm sure that Vis will be able to make a show of it either way. That first Watcher Knight giving him exactly what you want to see. 3 quick D-Darks. This actually opting not to D-Dark the second set. Yeah, perhaps some sort of just a quick way to mitigate RNG there.
I was going to say maybe true ending muscle memory.
Oh, that's true. But yeah, he does manage to pull both of them over to that corner at the end. This getting a very quick fight out of the Watcher Knights.
Yeah, that was a really good Watcher Knights fight, despite the strange Shade Soul strats at the start.
Yeah. I mean, he was able to get, even with those Shade Soul strats, he did kill that fair very efficiently. A lot of runners, when they get that roll, will struggle to get them back together, and they'll spend so much time doing that they will eventually decide that they should have gone for more Shade Souls rather than just try to lure them for the D-Dark. But
yeah, ins0mnia handled it very well.
ins0mnia starting off the Watcher Knight fight right, getting those quick. Oh yeah, and then the other Watcher just rolls straight back into him. Starts bouncing though. Yeah, it's gonna be a slower fight from him, but definitely respectable still. He is going to get a roll out of that left Watcher Knight right at the start. It looked like it paused for me, the replay there. But
yeah, I think it was just a bit of stream.
Yeah.
On his end. But ins0mnia makes relatively quick work of the Watcher Knights, showing how the fight can get a little bit out of hand with bad RNG on the rolls and bounces, but completes it safely, albeit a little bit slower than it is.
Vis walking back there for that extra 50 geo, or not 50, maybe it was 50 geo. Just noticing that he barely missed it, sticking out of the chest there. Missing geo will mean that you would have to kill a devout later on, which isn't a humongous time loss, but it's one that seems Vis was unwilling to take, finding that a quick backstep there worthwhile.
Yeah, I know a couple weeks ago, Viz was talking in the all skills section of the Discord about losing a run that was like 13 seconds ahead to making it to the distant village stag and not having enough geo because he missed a little bit there. So I'm sure that's influencing.
Oh my goodness, yeah, that sounds truly awful. With a time like this, is getting any sort of PB. Oh, let's hope that this starting off the split, taking 1 damage on the way to the skip. Yeah, he does heal up, really not wanting to repeat his previous race's death. He is a minute ahead about right now, so he definitely wants to increase that lead. A death here would pretty much put ins0mnia instantly ahead, so he is trying to mitigate that, taking some safety heals early on, especially with this intentional damage tank they're going to do from the Wurmps here. Very similar to the D-Dark early control. If this Wurmp hits him, he'll be able to move right away and save quite a bit of time there. Yeah, opting not to C-dash out just in case that Wurmp is in the way. Really making sure he's safe. He's on the same amount of HP as he was the last time he died here, though, so not necessarily in the safe zone. Despite 3 HP seeming like a lot, you can lose it quite quickly when you're trying to go fast. Now ins0mnia will be doing the first of the spike of the Isma skips with the spike tunnel. Vis did miss it once. He will get it first try. And he does get the good RNG. He's able to complete his C-dash, Vis at least, across the bridge. ins0mnia missing the wall jump input at the end of the first acid skip will cause him a little bit of pain, but at 4 HP, he should be fine. He's going for the setup here, not quite getting it as quick as Vis, but doing it without taking any additional damage, so that's good. Vis, in the meantime, showing off a quick strat to, because of the loads being removed, walking out of the room and reloading the room while the bench is in the animation of coming up is actually faster. Even if your load times are very long, just because of the load remover. So he showed off that strat, and he will be showing off some strategies with the Maulurks here, looking to avoid as many hits as possible. Spicy, you can take it away if you want.
Yeah, so this Maulurk room here is kind of half RNG, half cycle, in the sense that it's predictable what exactly the Maulurks will do, but it's random when you enter the room which ones they'll start with. And you'll see Viz doing some very precise movement to get through the Maulurks, only taking 1 damage, which was intentional for the purposes of a damage tank.
Yeah, this trick here being quite frustrating, needing to cancel a wall jump, or cancel a dash into a wall with a wall jump to redirect the dash in the opposite direction while gaining height. He misses it 4 times, I believe, at least. Yeah, we'll lose some time there. Even if ins0mnia doesn't go for that strategy at all, it only saves about 3 seconds. So you really want to do it right the first couple times around, but he does make it eventually.
Yeah, meanwhile, ins0mnia will be entering the Maulurk room. The Maulurks to look at are this first one you can avoid pretty consistently. ins0mnia manages to take damage there, though, because it is very easy to mess it up. And tries to do a C-dash cancel strat to get past the mandatory damage tank on the 3rd one, but misses it. And will decide to heal here.
Yeah, Vis exclaiming in chat, feeling a little bit of pain over that skip, I'm sure. Though his broken vessel fight, I must commend him. Blink and you'll miss it. That was fast. Probably started off with the damage cycle you really want. Oh, ins0mnia showing off, getting that trick first try. Definitely will be saving some time there on Vis. Though he is on slightly lower HP, he does have the amount of soul that you'd want going into this fight. Be looking to get a couple of quick double damage hits. Yeah, not a big fan of using your nail to execute those infection blobs. The fight begins when the last blob enters the Lost Kin's head. So you want to eliminate those blobs to make sure that you have time. To make sure you save time by getting the fight to start faster. But yeah, he killed him off with the nail, and he wasn't able to get to the other side to start with a double hit, which is what Vis almost certainly did to get a fight that quick.
Yeah, those infection blobs are one of those things where you can kind of get greedy trying to go for just a little bit extra time save and screw yourself out of a lot of time.
Yeah. He does manage to get at least 1 double hit and 1 Shade Soul off at the beginning of the fight. Or sorry, basically 3 Shade Soul hits. 1 double hit, 1 single hit. Which is just slightly lower than you'd want to start the fight with, so still fairly fast. But
yeah, and Viz will be approaching Hornet 2 here. Being a top runner in both this category, True Ending, and 106, I'd be very surprised to see him safety bench, and he does not.
Yeah. Vis absolutely gunning for it. Definitely one of the most dangerous bosses in this category. With bad RNG, she can parry Shade Souls in your face. She can I mean, she can just parry for days, period, and you just won't be able to damage her starting off with a parry, one of her favorite starting moves. But Vis will be looking for double hits just like that one to make the fight as fast and RNG light as possible. Faster you kill her, the less she can screw you over. You will kind of focus her into this corner. He's getting some double hits. He's definitely spamming Shade Soul a lot. Not getting the D-Darks that you might be looking for with needle throws, which would be technically optimal damage, but...
Yeah, I know. I wasn't sure if it was Viz or someone else, one of the other top runners talking in the chat, but apparently Shade Soul is actually still optimal for needle throws if you're at low soul, and D-Dark's only optimal at high soul because you can get some nail hits in after the Shade Soul and recover with a double.
Yeah, that's true. I was hearing this actually, I think, mentioned. There was a... I'm not sure if you've mentioned this on previous races, but I know I watched a great race earlier with some top runners commentating, mentioning that, yeah, going for a D-Dark is not always the correct play on the needle throw if you're low on soul, because that will mean missed damage on a potential double hit in the future.
Meanwhile, ins0mnia will enter the Hornet 2 fight. Hopefully we can see just as clean a fight from him.
ins0mnia opting to go for a Dream Nail. It would have actually worked for Vis because she started with a parry, but she starts by walking away from ins0mnia, so he doesn't quite get it. She parries that Shade Soul, blocking that 40 damage completely. He'll D-Dark her there, seeing that he has enough soul to do so. She's just wanting to stay in close range. In order to double hit Hornet, you want her to be standing somewhat farther away from you. She just completely jumps over that Shade Souls.
This is definitely
looking like a pretty rough fight. Yeah. He's not taking much damage, but in terms of wanting to go fast and make up time on this, I doubt he'll be pleased with this.
Yeah, it looked like he was playing the fight pretty safe at the start, too. It might just be, especially this fight in a race setting can really get the nerves going. So it's not surprising to see just some small little mistakes.
Yeah, one of our viewers, Chalky Adam, who's a top true ending runner, mentions that Vis's fight was quite clean. Not many Shade Souls blocked by parries, while ins0mnia did get a parry, and apparently it loses about 4 seconds every time Hornet parries a Shade Soul. Probably depends on whether that would have double hit as well, but it's just, yeah, it's pretty awful when a boss can just become immune at very unpredictable moments. Umu at least has the courtesy of going through cycles and letting us know when he plans on being vulnerable.
Meanwhile, we're at a pretty chill section of the run, just some pretty standard movement with C dashes as we make our way over to pick up Cyclone Slash, which is probably one of the most stranded skills. It's just kind of off on its own in Howling Cliffs.
Apparently, vysuals, upon hearing Mato give his friendly greeting, decided that he actually did not want to learn Cyclone Slash from the strange uncle who does in fact call you his child after teaching you the nail art. But realizing that he does need Cyclone Slash to complete the run, does go back to say yes immediately after. And now Vis will be on his way to Umu, which is an infamous boss in every category because it is a mandatory boss. And so, I guess in 112% and 106%, they are able to consistently one cycle without too much trouble. But in every other category, including this one, being able to get the optimal amount of cycles in all skills that will be one cycle, being able to do that consistently can be quite the task. So we'll be seeing Vis do that strat almost certainly. ins0mnia will be attempting to get it. I know that he has not quite perfected the consistency on it, though I've seen very few runners who have, and we'll see if Vis can prove himself as the consistent top runner that I know him to be.
Yeah, if there's anyone we could expect a one cycle out of, Viz is definitely one of those people. I definitely just cursed him, but hopefully his skill is enough to surpass that.
Yeah. Some runners it won't matter. I can say, oh, Monster's like, I'm sure Monster couldn't be slower than a 52, and no matter how I try to curse him, he's going to make it work. So we'll hope Vis can do the same here. So, luring him to the wall and then to this lower platform, they'll be trying to get above Umu for this last attack. I believe starting the fight with fast attacks and then ending with a slow one is what you want to see, because you can get up to this prime position without any trouble. The double hit, 4 nail hits should push Umu out of bounds, and 2 Shade Souls will both double hit and finish him off. Exactly what you want to see.
Yeah, very clean one cycle.
And now ins0mnia will be making the same path there. On about over a minute delay, it's looking like.
Yeah, Viz is definitely pulled ahead this race. There's still some danger points left, but after Umu, the all skills route gets fairly safe. So we'd expect to see him win at this point.
I feel like that C- started a little late. If you try to start a C- early, going into the Dreamers, you just get your input completely eaten. And it can happen multiple times where you just are holding it and expecting to see the animation, but it just doesn't come out. It looked like that happened to Vis there, but it's not going to be a major time loss. It's just something I can sympathize with.
Yeah, and of course, Viz is taking a minor time loss there anyway by not nail arting the Dreamers, because boomer strats.
Boomer strats, yeah. The C- strat is quite safe. It will mean that you won't fall off the platforms and lose what can be like 10 seconds, I believe, loading back in and out of that Dreamer sequence. But with a runner's practiced at this, I'm sure that's not his concern. It's more of just a muscle memory thing, I think. Definitely a boomer strat moment, but definitely something I go for. So, not acting as if I'm above that. ins0mnia does get the 4 nail hits. He does get the fight, the one cycle from ins0mnia as well. Excellent.
Yeah, Umu is really high for that one cycle, and ins0mnia had to do some weird wing stall before the fireball rather than after, as you normally do, to pull it off. But manages to get it, which was very impressive.
Yeah, I'm sure that ins0mnia, he mentioned that he was not expecting to win this race. He would have had to, I think, we would have had to see some pretty significant mistakes from Vis, seeing how far ahead his PB is from ins0mnia. ins0mnia is showing off the non-boomer strat of going straight for that dash slash at the beginning. But and I think ins0mnia will be happy with how he played throughout the majority of this race, because he has been getting. Sorry, I wasn't sure what Vis was doing there. It seemed like he held his C- for a moss creep and then jumped over it. I'm not actually sure if that moss creep stops it. Maybe he just didn't want to get the C- glitch. I'm not sure. But for the most part, ins0mnia got the one cycle on Umu. He played a very, very clean early game, pulling ahead of Vis in some places and just managing to keep it close. I think if he continues to play well throughout the rest of this race, regardless of the circumstance, he will be happy with the result.
Yeah, there's definitely, when you're facing a runner as good as Vysuals, a certain expectation for yourself as we see Viz run into the spikes.
Yeah, just a bit of a time loss and HP loss. The HP won't matter as he quits out here, but yeah, as I'm sure you were about to say, didn't cancel the C dash in time for that transition. Yeah. Team Cherry really trolling with the position of those thorns there.
Yeah, but facing top runners, there's certainly an amount of feeling where you're just like, I want to play as good as I can. I don't expect to win, which definitely takes off some of the race pressure and can lead to some really good gameplay, as we're seeing from ins0mnia.
So I will be trying to keep track of exactly where the runners are. 4150 is when this wakes up on the bench in archives. We'll be seeing, yeah, and so it looks like it's. I wouldn't be surprised, but if this increased his lead over. Oh man, I saw that hit coming in for ins0mnia right there. He was trying to get a C dash off, and he saw that hit coming too late. Canceled the C dash, but got hit anyway. Unlucky, but if you mess up the movement just slightly there, the enemies do manage to get their attack cycles off like that. But again, it shouldn't matter too much, just some slight time loss. This, meanwhile, heading into Howling Wraiths, we'll be seeing him kill as many squits in as little time as possible. Missing an up slash there will mean he has to deal with that one later. But looks like actually it doesn't affect the spawning of the waves. I didn't realize. Do you not have to kill the original squits?
No, yeah, you don't. They just can get in the way, so people do.
I see. Okay. I actually thought that the ones outside the arena didn't matter, but the ones that started in there did. So I was actually my mistake. Yeah, Vis just stopped caring about that one once it got out of his range, but definitely still able to make a quick work of that squid arena. And now we'll be seeing him head to Deep Nest, starting with Queen's Gardens. They'll be ending in the Beast Den. And on the way there, they'll go through several dark rooms, a combat arena, and do a damage tank Thorn Warp. All of which will be fairly interesting.
Yeah, if we're lucky, we'll see an underplat Thorn Warp, but I wouldn't expect it.
Honestly,
tight trick.
I actually feel like it's not that tight at all. I've started going for it, and I think that it's more of just it's something you wouldn't want to do while nerves are running high, I think is the main thing. Because typically when you're feeling nervous, I think you try to go for just faster inputs, trying to do everything quicker, and just mistiming that could be pretty rough. But walking off that platform there, just simply dashing over it to the correct position, is going to be a much safer, reasonable strat.
Yeah, and we see a very clean standard Thorn Warp from ins0mnia and Viz as well. Or from Viz, I mean, not ins0mnia. ins0mnia is going into the Dark Fly arena.
Yeah, I would hope he's not Thorn Warping before getting into the Queen's Gardens. Probably not as productive. Yeah, that's quit taking a while to die, meaning, and it being one of the ones from inside the arena does mean that the wave spawn was a little bit delayed. But he got through it quite quickly as well. Just making his way through the dark. Any top runner is going to know these dark rooms very, very well. Not only know how to do them correctly, but also know the backups, because if you do take damage, you do get reset to the beginning. And in this third room here, that would mean going through some terrain that shifts as you crumble some ground on the first run through. Though actually, he manages not to crumble it at all. Going through as quickly as he did, so as expected, clean dark rooms from this.
Those dark Deep Nest dark rooms, you can usually expect to be pretty clean from top runners. It's not uncommon to hear the sentiment that they feel more comfortable doing them in the dark than they do doing them in the light. just because they're so practiced in them that it's just...
That is something I've not heard someone say before, but honestly, I get a little off-put when I walk in there with Lantern in any percent now, so I can definitely see it.
It's definitely one I share, and you see a lot, especially from rando players with a lot of darkroom experience.
I wonder if Viz heard us call him a boomer. He went for the dash slash strat here that time.
Love to see it. Love to see it.
You love to see it. Mid-race adaptation from Viz, if he was indeed listening to the comms there.
Peer pressure can be great for improving race times.
Oh yeah, that 0.1 second optimization, you never know. His next opponent could be X. Yeah. But vysuals at least will be making his way out. I didn't actually see if ins0mnia went for the underplat thorn warp. I honestly might have expected it from ins0mnia, just because he's a man who respects his race content. Is he trying to go for the CP? No, surely not. The current patch inventory drops are a bit tighter. You need to walk off and open the inventory on the frame that you walk off to get an inventory drop. It looked like he was kind of going for that.
Yeah, it's possible he just tried to open his inventory too early as well. When you're trying to go as fast as possible, sometimes you can just do it on the ledge and then be like, oh, I'm one step off, and then not be one step off and do it again.
Yeah, that's true. I'm actually going to try to find ins0mnia's splits right now. And see if he might act like it's quite reasonable if he's trying to keep up with this. And staying within a minute or two of him, it's quite reasonable that he could actually be on PB pace.
Yeah, he's definitely in the realm of it. It's been a really good run from ins0mnia so far.
I keep seeing his current patch times. He hasn't gotten a PB in a while here for this patch, but that's just because his PB is quite high. And then also he was focused on the all skills bracket of the tournament as well for a little while. Or sorry, the current patch bracket. Both of them are all skills brackets. This is an all skills tournament. This is approaching the sibling climb though.
Yeah, and the sibling climb is really the last dangerous part of the run here, and we will see Viz get through it very cleanly. The siblings spawns are notably RNG, or how they wander around is RNG, I guess. I think they always spawn in the same place. But they can end up in some really good or really bad places to help you save time or beat you up really badly. And adapting to that can be a little difficult, especially under nerves of a good pace run or for newer runners.
It does look like ins0mnia is about 25 seconds behind his personal best, but honestly, finishing within a minute of your personal best in a race, especially when you already have sub 54, will be very solid. I'm sure that would be his fastest race time, actually. So if he's able to keep up this pace, I'm sure he'll be happy. And I believe that'd be his second fastest finished run of this category as well. I could be wrong on that one.
Definitely believable. As runners' PBs get closer and closer to world record, they finish less and less runs close to their PBs because a lot of people just don't like continuing runs where you need to play perfect to save 1 second.
Yeah, it's just, it does get so rough. With how quickly your expectations for yourself start to go up, at least for me. Formerly, you know, just a month or so ago, I would have been so happy to get sub-hour, and now a 59-minute time is, it's like, why would I even bother if I'm on pace for that? Like, I'll just start a new run. But I'm sure most runners have felt that that desire for constant improvement as opposed to almost nostalgia, I guess you could say, for simpler times. But this so far, very clean race. No. Definitely not. I was going to say maybe personal best pace for him, but I don't quite think so. It would be nice to see a 50-50, or sorry, a 50xx time from him.
ins0mnia, please.
Oh, ins0mnia taking the double damage twice from the siblings.
Alright, but ins0mnia manages to make it, and there's nowhere else to take damage after this lighthouse, so ins0mnia will safely make it to Shade Cloak.
Yeah, and he does manage to avoid the Axe to You lever skip there. Really cursed RNG, where you just, swing the nail and you just don't get that hit. Cost you about 6 seconds on personal best pace, you never know. But, here we'll see ins0mnia. Yeah, I didn't quite mention it when Vis was going through it, but we see ins0mnia will quit out there to save some time. 51 5x. I'm not sure why 5x specifically, but I do think that we're getting probably a mid 51 time from visuals here.
Yeah, which is very solid in a race setting. Not everyone can be Pisces and get the second ever 49 during a race. These high-level runs, anything sub 52 is really insane, honestly.
Yeah, that's true. I believe that every runner within the top 10 has a sub 52. So to get a time that would be top 10 on the leaderboard is pretty incredible. If he's able to pull it off. Yes! I'm almost certain that 51 is, mid 51. Alright. Yeah, someone said if 51 is not on the table, but it almost certainly is. It would actually have to be quite a slow fight for him to miss that mark. Having a little less than a minute or a little over a minute to finish this fight. We will be seeing him shriek the Hollow Knight to death, spamming our most powerful spell that we've only just acquired, 120 damage per full hit. Quite something to behold compared to the 40 damage of a Shade Soul, 88 damage of a D-Dark. There's just nothing that comes even close. Ooh, ins0mnia taking a harsh fall in the Abyss climb in the meantime. Vis missing the Scream Skip. Oh, okay, I was gonna say, we really don't want to see a death right here. That would have been catastrophic. It still would have had Vis in the lead, I believe, but...
Yeah, it would have made the race much closer.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, ins0mnia makes it to the top of the Abyss as Visuals timer stops at a 51:40.
That is a great race time. I believe the fastest race time that we've seen from him. Brilliant time. And we'll see ins0mnia probably finish along those same lines. I believe that's within a minute of Vis's PB. And it looks like ins0mnia is definitely going to make that mark for himself as well. So I will go ahead and mark this as done so that we will be able to hear ins0mnia's audio coming up to this final section with the Hollow Knight. Hopefully he has his music on. I love the Hollow Knight's theme, the Sealed Vessel. One of the best pieces in video game music, I would personally say.
Sealed Vessel is really great.
Oh no. ins0mnia really wanting to go for a solid time here, it seems. Usually he would show off something like Helicopter Knight or the Super Knight, which are some fun glitches here, but I believe he sees the pace that he's on. Again, not personal best pace, but definitely going to be the best pace that he's finished a race on. So, probably looking ahead to his next opponents in the 1-2 bracket, wanting to make a statement there.
Sure, and it's looking like ins0mnia is on pace for a mid 54, 54-30, 54-40. The comp job Hollow Knight for all skills being, I believe, a high 50 time, and the average fight being about a minute 5, a minute 10, probably. You'd expect him to definitely finish in a 54.
Yeah, I'm going to try to. I'm not. Did ins0mnia think he had enough soul there? He looked like he was standing around for a little bit, but I'm going to try to take the time to explain what we want out of this fight. I didn't really go over it. We want to see the Hollow Knight standing still. We don't want to see him dashing like we do in any percent, like he's doing to ins0mnia here. Yeah, attacks just like that one where the full blast of the shriek is allowed to hit him. Is what you want to see. ins0mnia actually getting a shriek as he starts stabbing himself there. That will be free damage that I believe I saw this miss. Just because he was trying to farm up soul. But this is quite optimal. Oh no! Hollow Knight delayed his scream there so much that ins0mnia missed scream skip just barely. But he will finish at 54 times. Very, very solid run from both runners. No deaths whatsoever. Pretty much exactly what you'd want to see, I think.
Yeah, both runners did a great job finishing just about within 2 minutes of his PB ins0mnia. Well, I think it's 2 minutes and 4 seconds.
1 minute and...
Or 1 minute and 4 seconds.
Yeah, 1 minute.
What am I talking about? Yeah. I was like, I thought he played better than that.
Yeah. ins0mnia will have a 52 one day, I'm sure, but it is not quite today.
Yes, for now, I remain ahead of him on the leader.
All right, it looks like both of our racers have made it to the Discord. We will be having an interview here, so go ahead. Any questions or comments you have, you go ahead and put them in the chat. We'll pose them to our racers here.
Yeah, and we see Viz take an unfortunate visit to Mila, a cruel murder to the best girl in Hollow Knight. Truly upsetting. I can't believe we can let this scandal go unnoticed. Whenever the runners are ready, they can hop into the...
Yeah, I don't believe they had heard the comms, but it's something they just asked me in chat if it was good to come in, so I'll let them know. Here we are.
GG.
GG. Congratulations to both of you guys. I believe that's one of your fastest finished all skills times, ins0mnia?
That's my second fastest time, yeah.
Yeah,
my 53 was a PB by like a minute and a half.
Yeah, and...
I was green 20 seconds until C-dash split happened.
It's got to be
80% muscle memory just like carried me.
At least, what's the word I'm looking for? At least silver lining here is like, you got not too far behind your PB with like, by your, like catastrophic Sea Heart and Abyss Climb. So like, you could beat your PB pretty easily.
Yeah, for sure. Early game time save definitely came in clutch, and somehow one cycled that Umu pattern was like incredibly suspicious.
Everyone was worried, and because I changed it up this time. I told myself I was going to stop watching the stream on my TV to my left, and so instead this time I just had chat up and I had the audio playing. I could hear the commentators, so I heard them like, yeah. "Oh man, like I think Wasabi, you thought he was going to get a fourth attack, and then all of a sudden he just like still gets it." Everyone's like, "Oh, okay, cool. We thought he wasn't going to get it."
Yeah, the UMRG, and you heard us. Okay, I was wondering if you heard us call you a boomer about the
Oh, of course.
the dash slash because I saw you switch it up for for Hera.
Yeah.
Like, that was just brilliant.
So I went for a lot of weird things that. Well, okay, I go for Moss Knight double hit now. I do that all the time, unless I literally forget. Like I just do it autopilot through it sometimes. But I went for the Dream Nail under plat because I've never done it before. That was not on purpose. I didn't know where to see that.
You heard me say that. Yeah. I was like, that didn't look right at all. But he just did that. He just knew exactly where to go.
Yeah, I was like, oh no, I think I stopped this too early. I think I can save it. Oh, I saved it. All right, let's go.
It was so concerning to see that. I do wonder if it's optimal because then you don't hard slam into that platform, which I think most runners do. Definitely scary, but it's already a pretty scary strat.
My heart skipped a beat for a second. I was not happy about. First off, on the way down the spire, I hit one of the stupid husks, and I was like, okay, that's not good. That means we're going into the Rava room with 3 health again. And then I messed up the spike tunnel skip, and I was like, oh no, this is really bad. So I healed once before, and I was like, okay, I guess I'm going in with 3 health again. Please don't do this again. Please.
I went in on 3 health as well, and I'm like to myself, don't pull a Viz, don't pull a Viz, don't pull a Viz.
Look at this, man.
Also, I don't know if you saw. Okay, so on my way to Mantis Claw, whenever I needed to get the 2 Geo Rocks to the right, because of load normalizer, the little mushroom guy was farther to the left. Because normally I walk off the platform to the right, and then I nail once to the right and then fireball to the right. But he was like wondering. Yeah, he was like really far to the left, and I was like, oh, okay, I can't do that now. So I guess I have to like jump over him to the left and shoot fireball. I don't know. I was
said something about the load normalizer in chat, and I wasn't sure what part that was referring to. I thought about mentioning it, but it was so far from like I couldn't grasp. I was like,
Is that what we're gonna blame those crystal peaks on from Wolfie? Wolf runners.
Don't get me started. I've been doing any percent peak, and it's like you can face tank 4 times and it's fine. And then I was like, oh crap, okay. Take God Pixel Room, nice and chill. Managed to get hit twice there. Okay. We'll have to do damageless key room now. Gets hit, and then gets hit on the way out of that room trying to heal. It was just like terrifying. And then I turned around to get a hit of soul from the Glimback and Dark Room, and somehow managed to dash left into it. So I'm like, all right.
I think
2
you
health
had
Dark Room. Mound.
I think you had full soul, or you had a full heal charge of soul when you went for that nail hit. That was.
No, I only had 2 out of 3.
You really did?
I got the nail hit and then dashed left instead of right. So.
Oh, I see. And then you went for another nail hit after that to get out of it?
No, I only went for. So it was nail hit, got that, and then I went to dash right, but I dashed left, and that's where I went downhill.
I could swear you left that room with 4 soul, and I was very confused. But
I might have just instinctively bonked him back if I got hit, because it wouldn't lose like any time anyway.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So I don't know what was happening on like the commentary, but whenever I saved the grub, I totally wasn't even like looking at my own screen. Like I didn't even know I saved it until people said, "Why did you save the grub?" I was like, "Oh, whoops." I was like autopiloting really hard.
I was actually right, because I said when he saved the grub, I'm like, that actually just makes no sense. I'd guessed an accidental nail swing before an intentional grub save.
Yeah, no, I didn't even know I did it until I saw everyone in the chat was like, "What are they doing?" I was like, "Oh." Whoops.
One of our chat members wants you to go see. Well, maybe while we wrap up this interview, go see the Grub Father. While you to bear witness to your own shame. I don't know if you're down for that.
Imagine saving grubs.
I know. Wait, you saved it too?
No, I didn't.
No, he didn't.
Oh, okay. I
jumped over it.
God, that's what I like to hear. Thank you for at least doing the right thing.
Grubs don't deserve right.
They really don't.
That Hornet too. I must just be like incredibly out of it, because I don't think I doubled the threat attack once, and like they looked like they were meant to.
That's right.
But I didn't get hit, so I'd rather that than die.
Both of you guys seem to have a pretty rough Hornet fight. You both shared some pretty rough Crystal Peaks as well. I thought that ins0mnia might be able to catch up a bit there, but then yeah, tragic God Pixel and key room happened. Both of you guys, I think, made some mistakes in the dark room and recovered it, which I thought was really cool.
Yeah, I mean, my mistake was like right at the end. I kind of stood there on the first platform for a bit because I was like, hang on, what do I do here? What do I do here? What do I do here? It's not current patch, so I didn't get shot for my efforts.
I got hit to the Crystal Hunter right off the bat, and luckily I had 3 health, and I was like, okay, I'm still okay as long as I like land on this platform over to the left and just kind of like redo the room, I guess, and without leaving it, obviously, and I was able to recover.
Yeah, I know during that C Peaks, ins0mnia dropped a frick in chat.
Yeah, we all thought he died.
Done for us.
Yeah, I was like, no. I actually. Oh, wait. I think that's why I saved the grub, because I saw the frick on my way to it, and I was just staring at the chat the whole time. Like, I wasn't even looking at my own screen. I was like, please don't tell me he died. Like, I was like staring at the chat, like hoping that he wasn't about to say, well, you know, everyone. I was waiting for all the no's and F's or something, and it never came.
Yeah. It was so it was because I was like, he's on 2 HP. This could have just been a missed underplat double hit and just out of it.
Yeah, but 944 cloak for someone that's got a 53 PB, I'll take that. That was like, yeah, I was minus 20.5 there.
The 744 cloak, you mean?
Oh, sorry, 944 claw.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah,
I was like, 944 cloak doesn't sound right. Not for this race, at least.
I thought 15 seconds behind my any percent best, so that's about faster.
I'm not gonna lie, yeah. I thought I golded Lurian because I think that was like one of my best Watcher Knights fights, and then I just went and checked a second ago. I didn't gold that, but I did gold a Bistreak, so that's cool.
Oh, that is cool.
Yeah,
Bistreak being a very movement heavy one. But yeah, actually, do you always go? I'm glad you brought that up. Do you always go for the Shade Souls like that on that second pair?
Yeah, I like ever since True Ending, I just like that setup. It feels really nice to get like Dream Nail 3 hits, dash left, and then Nail Fireball, Nail Fireball, and then one rolled away from there. Yeah, and then I just react from there. But I've always liked that setup right there. I should probably learn D-Dark stuff, but
I mean, I gotta say compliments to the chef there, because it seems like it mitigates a little bit of the RNG. Like maybe it loses time to optimal RNG. But it definitely seemed like it would have saved time to getting like an insta roll, just like you did. Over the D-Dark strat.
Oh, I did want to point out what I have said about Hornet 2, and I don't know if this is like 100% accurate, but my thoughts on Hornet 2 are what you were basically saying as I was like leaving, was if you have low soul and she does the needle throw, just jump over nail fireball nail, because you're gonna end up with like more soul and you're doing 50 damage rather than 88, and it's like pretty quick and you can like build soul faster. If you have like full soul and she does a needle attack, if I react, I'll D-Dark, but like other than that, that's like the only time I really D-Dark in that fight.
Yeah. I only lost 0.1 to my Umu gold, which was
I was going to mention that.
Closest to decent I had.
Yeah, right before you joined ins0mnia, I did mention your early game was very, very solid. You were keeping up with Vis. You were ahead of him in Crossroads, fell a little behind in Green Path, but then caught right back up.
Yeah, I missed first fireball skip as well. And then I dunked in Claw, which was stupid. I've been practicing that very rarely.
Would that Umu gold have been a gold had like you're talking about you split it Monomon, right? Not a Umu?
I want to say yes. Yes.
Because didn't the live split change like the other day? I don't even know if this is like confirmed, but there was like a big update on live split. There was like 10 things changed, and I noticed the next day when I streamed that the Dreamers don't split whenever you like hit an input on the like to skip the cutscene. It like keeps going for like a second and a half, and then whenever the cutscene's playing, your timer's at 0.00 instead of like whatever it normally was, like 1.3 something. So,
I haven't updated my live split yet. So
oh, okay. Yeah.
My live splits.
That's why in my PB the other day I golded like everything that was after a Dreamer, because I had like a free second and a half on all of them. which felt weird.
Yeah, that is definitely an interesting change. But yeah, I was going to mention with your good early game and your Umu, was there anything else in this run you're particularly proud of, or just pretty solid overall outside of the few mistake areas?
Not really. So there's some things that I'd been practicing since I'd last done runs went really well. Like Great Slash went all right. Like I say, Hitless Hornet 2 I'll take. I saved time on Watch and I. But really it's just early game because that's any percent stuff. So it felt good to actually see improvement in that. I lost like 5 seconds on Wraiths, but it was still all right. I kind of just got off cycle because one of them charged like right to the bottom of the arena.
Yeah, I saw that. It was pretty unfortunate.
We're gonna see more ins0mnia current patrol skills soon, right? What's your favorite?
Oh dear God, no.
When
well,
you
actually,
run,
will tomorrow, but yeah, you won't be seeing like casually doing runs or anything. If you do, it might be worth like asking what's wrong.
I'll definitely reach out. But
Yeah.
you need someone to talk to. GG, man.
All
Yeah,
right,
thanks to comms and chat.
Yeah, thanks, buddy.
Yeah.
We're guys.
Hopefully we've not overstayed too long here. I know we started a bit late just because we were late on the speed gaming, so.
Yeah.
But I think we will be wrapping up here. Thank you very much to both the racers. Really had a good time commentating this. And thank you to Spicy, my co-commentator here.
Yeah, thank you to Wasabi for being an awesome commentator, and thank you to ins0mnia and Vysuals for giving us a great race, and thank you to chat for being a bunch of cuties. I hope everyone has a good night.
When's the next match scheduled for?
Good call.
Actually, I can pull it up. So it's 13 hours from when this one started. No, wait, more than that. 24, 37. Maths is hard with time zones.
So what you're saying is
36 hours from now. Just check speedgaming.org/HKAS. And it'll all be on there. Or there should be a schedule command as well. There we go. But yeah, thanks for commentating. Good luck in your next races, Viz, and
You too,
see
buddy.
you next time.
Don't get matched against Rhino.
Yeah. If I end up 1-3, like only losing to people better than me.
I'll pray for you.
Yeah. Yeah. GG.
Good luck, gentlemen.
Good luck, guys.
That was great.